What's going on, guys? What Would Vinny Do podcast. I got a great guest tonight, my childhood friend, the super talented, aspiring comedian, hardworking. My boy Johnny Fig is in the place. What's up, brother? What's going on? How are you?
What's up, Vin Pike?
How are you, brother?
Good, man, good.
Glad to have you. We're going to talk about, I don't know if you know, I know you know a little bit about the show, but the show's about people just trying to be successful people that are just doing their thing and just hustling, kind of like what you're doing, and just trying to make it happen in all different industries. It's not just about real estate. Obviously, we got you on tonight, and it's about just people hustling.
That's good. I don't know anything about real estate, so that's not just about real estate.
Good. So
that's a good concept. I think I like it. It's like the hustle's, I think something that a lot of people can relate to. People that are in the hustle, I think, will get a kick out of listening to it.
Yes.
Get some good pointers.
Add some value to people trying to come up. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what it's
a
for.
good concept. I told you, I like it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. So, on your bio, it says how you moved here from Cali when you were a young kid. It's funny because growing up with you, I always felt that Cali vibe, and I thought you were like laid back.
Free spirit.
Exactly. So, do you think that had anything to do with it, or you were just too young when you came over, so you didn't really remember that Cali stuff?
Yeah, I do think about that. I was too young by the time I moved here. I stopped in Connecticut for a few years, too. I don't remember California, but I do feel like I have like a California spirit. But like with New York, I'm grounded in New York,
right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like I have like I don't know. I don't really know California people, but I feel like the image anyway, like they're dreamers, you know what I mean? Which I definitely am.
Right.
But I don't know. Sometimes I guess if you don't have any grounding, like those California people that just become like the beach bums, like I couldn't be one of those guys. So you have to have the regular. New York is the hustle. You got to be, whatever you're doing, you got to be working. You can't just be living on the beach year round.
So you got the California dream, but you got the New York hustle. You got it all right.
I got a little bit of both.
Yeah. Which is perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So you come over. I remember, I'm going to talk about this. What I always admired about you growing up, like you kind of always beat to your own drum, and you kind of always did your own thing. You weren't one of those dudes that just went with the crowd, and I always liked that. And I actually remember you. Like I'm working at the post office, you're doing your own thing, and you end up getting a job at Con Ed. Like all of our friends are starting to get jobs at the phone company, whatever.
Yeah.
You end up, I think you passed up on that. You could have had that, so you were holding out as long as you can. I remember that. And then you get the job at Con Ed, and I was kind of like upset. I was happy for you. I know you need a job, and of course that's a good job with benefit. But I was like, oh man, he's you know what I'm saying?
I remember when you were upset with me.
Easy for me to say, right? I'm working at the post office, and but you didn't have a family. You were like a single dude, so I kind of thought you could have held out a little longer. You know
I passed up a few good ones.
Right.
Verizon.
Yeah. So did I.
And
a lot
I think
of
sanitation department. I didn't pass that up, but I remember guys from going to take the test for that, and then I passed on taking the test, and I saw them doing well a few years later. I basically saw you guys, like you guys were in like the phone company, those jobs where you start buying houses, and I was still living in my grandmother's house. I'm like, yo, what am I doing, dude?
Right.
So I was always a dreamer, like I said. I had these dreams of like, whatever, being something like a writer. I was always writing in notebooks, doing like scribbling stuff, and I thought somehow someone was just gonna find me, and I realized it's like, yo, no one's finding me, so I better get like, I don't know. I always had a job, but it was always like, I'll do this until the dream comes, but
right.
I wasn't putting myself out there for the dream. You know what I mean? I was just dreaming with no like action behind it, basically, for a long time. And then I realized that I gotta take one of these jobs maybe. So then Con Ed, it happened as a fluke kind of Con Ed. Like I had a girl I was dating at the time just kept harassing me to put my application in. I was doing mortgages at the time. Actually, I did it for a little bit.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I was an underwriter.
That's funny.
And I was doing pretty good with it. And then the whole like subprime bubble started to break, and kind of just happened. I took the test and I passed, and then they called me, and I was like, maybe I should take this because this mortgage business is not looking too good right now. And then I took the job like a month later. The place I left, the mortgage place I left, was out of business.
When was this? In the 90s?
I started Con Ed in 2006, so that was around, like 2006, something like that.
Okay.
But I kept starting over a lot of times with the jobs. Like I said, I saw all you guys moving on. You guys would get married, have your kids who was buying like houses, condos, and I was like, fuck, man, I'm blowing this shit here. All right, am I allowed to curse on this?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. It is what it is.
I'm a pretty clean comic, by the way. I really am. I don't like curse much in comedy, but
all good.
when I talk to you guys, it's real.
We bring it out of you. That's interesting stuff, because that's the reason why you started when you have the family and the kids. The fact that you didn't have that, I would think you didn't have to get tied. Do it as quick, so there was nothing wrong with the path you took either.
I mean, nothing wrong with it, but I mean, at some point, like I just thought to myself, I'm not a kid anymore. I'm getting old. I got to do something. You know, I don't know. I still feel like I'm like behind where everybody else is, but because I'm a dreamer, I think that it's a good thing and a bad thing in my life. I feel like over the years, you know what I mean, dreaming. I like that I have like the mind sometimes that I have like you know I was like lost in my mind a little bit. I like that part of it. Then there's no currency for it unless you go out there and make something with that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Yeah. So you get the job with Con Ed. Are you miserable at the beginning? Is it like a 9 to 5? Like I had to do this, and you're okay with it, and you're gonna start working on the creative stuff on the side as you're doing it. Is that it?
I mean, I did a lot of like, you know, I was in the field for the first 2 years, so like, you know, out in the cold weather and all that shit, which I didn't like. But I did jobs. I worked for a movie after I graduated college. I went through a lot of different careers. I worked at the lumberyard throughout college and a little bit after full time, and I worked as a teacher for a year. Then I was a writer for like 2 years at a marketing company. I was getting jerked around with money, so I left that. I went to my uncle's friend where I was a moving man after that for 2 years.
Oh, that's right. You went to college for marketing, right? We didn't even bring that up.
Yeah, I did. I went 4 years. I thought I was going to be like, I wanted to be a writer in some fashion, some shape or form. I was doing well at it, but they were just not paying me. I mean, when I got there, they had like 4 writers in my boss, and within the year, they fired all the other writers except me as the junior. I was a junior writer. So it was just me and my boss at that point. They were paying me still as a junior writer. It was supposed to, they were paying like $28,000 a year, salaried, so no overtime to keep me late. So I liked the job, but they weren't doing the right thing with the money. I couldn't afford to stay there anymore, so I went to work as a moving man for 2 years. And then I was back out, like, you know, blue collar, you know, working with guys like, basically like out of jail and stuff like that. It's the only job they could get. And I'm like, man, I graduated college. What the hell am I doing? I couldn't find anything else in marketing. I was like, another dead end. Like I was like another, you know, I just didn't know what I was doing with myself.
Yeah, but that's interesting because there's a lot of debates now with college and how it's not really all it's cracked up to be, and a lot of people are starting to think like it might, especially with all the student loans and all. Do you look at it and say it was a waste, or how do you look at your college experience?
I do have mixed feelings about it because I'm still paying the loans. You know what I mean? So it's like all these years later, and I think there's like a little bitter about how they kind of don't tell you how much you're going to actually pay back, and now the prices are even like double than when I went. It's insane what they charge you to get an education. You know what I mean? But I guess I don't regret it. It's like one of the only things I saw through to the end, and it took me I took a few semesters off, but I did graduate. And I don't know. I don't know if I don't know, because it doesn't really apply to my job, and I didn't really use my education.
Right.
I didn't need it to be in kind of.
Right. And that's what I think. I think if you're going to go to college, for me, with my children and looking ahead, if they want to be a lawyer, or if you're going to do something in that field that you're going to college for, that's what I see it for. If you're going to come out and then there's a lot of things where you don't even use what you went through in college. You know
Absolutely,
what I mean?
Yeah. That's kind of wasting money.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's hard to say you waste money on education. It's not a bad thing. If you're going to waste money on something, it's not a bad thing. But it depends on which college you're going to and how much you're actually, $50,000 a semester. 80,000. It's insane.
It is.
And then kids don't realize that now you come out.
It's criminal.
It is. You come out now, you're in a $200,000 hole, $300,000, and you're getting a job making minimum wage or whatever. It's just like, dude, it's so hard. You're better off buying a house if you have the money to do it.
You're right.
Whatever.
You're right. I like that plug right there. You're better off buying a house. You're always better off buying a house.
If you're gonna buy a house,
fails, you buy a house. You use
I was trying to throw it back.
What would Vinny do? Thank you. So you're that's the creative side. You're working at Con Ed. Me and you talk a few times. I'm kind of into creative stuff. We talked about maybe writing some screenplays or doing some comedy. You end up working on some music. I actually have a piece, a little snippet of something I'm going to play right here, and I think it's pretty cool.
Is it me?
Yes, sir. You ready?
Get it.
I believe that's Tommy Angelino. We got a good play, Tommy Angelino. Playing Gucci Home, put the beat together.
That I see in the back, staring at the ground, looking over my tracks that I made throughout my life. Is it wrong or is it right? Do I lay down and die, or do I stand up and fight? Make my own way, or do I follow the plan? Everybody's counting, no one's doing the bad. And another thought to what I told you before. If I'm rich or if I'm poor, am I less or is it more? What is in store? Where do I look? Going through the pages, what is writing the book? Hold it all together, is it falling apart? Changing like the weather, am I playing my part?
Which of the paths do we take? Follow the tracks that we made. That's my man, Johnny Craig, right there. Make our if you listen to the lyrics. In like it, bro.
Sounds good, huh?
Yes. So when was that? When was that?
That was 1997.
Who was rapping on that? They sound pretty tight.
That
We
was
put out
that was you.
there. Yeah. So yeah, we worked on a few songs together. I think we did it for like what, a month or
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. We did like 5 or 6 songs, and I actually still listen to them now, and I'm like, it's cool stuff. It's good stuff. Every person I let hear it still likes the stuff.
I still like it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know if, like I said, my opinion's a little prejudiced, but
Yeah, but I would know if it was garbage. I would say it's garbage. Like even if I do it myself, I'm the hardest critic of myself. It's definitely good for the amount of time we put in and we pull together.
is that one of your biggest regrets, not pursuing the music a little bit?
Dude,
I feel like it was good for like we literally spent like maybe how long on each song?
I agree.
An hour?
Yeah. We just told each other this is the topic. Go write about that.
Yeah.
Like and you went and I went. We came back the next day. Yeah,
it was good. I mean, I love doing the music. I was always a huge music guy. So that was like I still sing in my bedroom now. I have like an app on karaoke. How do you say it? Karaoke app on my phone. So I sing like all the time. This is like relaxing to me. But when I hear those songs from like back then, I'm like, man, I wish we would have just had like a real actual band, because Frank made the beats on the drums. Tommy was the guitar player.
Remember when we had the bass player? That session, that shit was great.
yeah. That's a whole nother story.
Speaking of which, we recently went to a concert, and I have to say this on the air because I was so upset about it. Counting Crows, and they do not play Mr. Jones. That
was devastating.
I'm still shaking up over that.
The lights went on, then the show ended, and the people walking out, we still thought they were coming back from Morocco. We couldn't believe they didn't play Mr. Jones.
I don't get that, man. I don't see that. Like for me, that's like not doing the right thing by your people. You know, that's.
It was good. We had fun, though.
No, I had a great night. But the live was
Don't make your girlfriend feel bad. She bought the tickets.
No, it was a great night. Yes, great night.
Good shit.
Yes. So the music stops. We stopped doing the music. We did it just for fun. We had a good time with it. When does are you doing the comedy? And that's another thing I like about you. Like a lot of people talk a lot. Like I see a lot of people in real estate, a lot of people in general, they're always talking, you know what, about what they're going to do, but they're never doing anything. They're going to do it when they retire. They're going to do it when the kids get out of school. You actually, I used to see you didn't talk, and you just did what you had to do, and I respect and I admire that. 1 minute you're just like, I'll be at Caroline's Friday. We were playing wiffle ball the week before, so I respect that. Wiffle ball is a great sport. So when does the comedy start? And was it around that time after the music, or a little while after? Did you always know you wanted to do that, or did some spark?
Yeah, I always wanted to do it. I was just too afraid. You know what I mean? Like with most things, the music was better because you have like a little team behind you.
Right.
We never performed live.
Yeah,
we never performed anywhere. We just recorded the songs at Frank's house. But I wish, like I said, we would have followed up with the music, but that didn't happen. And then comedy, I wanted to do. Since I always loved stand-up since I don't know the '80s. I guess like the first specials I heard, probably the same ones everyone in this area heard, like Eddie Murphy, Delirious.
Mm-hmm.
The Andrew Dice Clay one was huge. Everybody was like going through that phase.
Right.
And a few of the George Collins specials. So I think like Danny Espo was probably the one that brought me in with the stand-up comedy. Like he was always a fan, and I kind of got to be a big fan then. So yeah, since my early 20s, I guess I wanted to do it, and I would kick the idea around in my head. But I was like, nah, it seems. And I would go to shows a lot too with a girl I dated at the time. We liked going to the comedy clubs a lot, but. And I was like, I guess I thought I was funny, but then I would see guys on stage, and I'd be like, there's no way I can do this. It's just like a different level of funny. I didn't realize the whole process behind getting to that point. You know what I mean? So I would be too afraid. Then working in the Lumberyard, there was a kid, Angelo Magaro, who's like a character. He's a funny guy, and he was a bad guy manager in a wrestling circus.
I saw a little bit of that.
Yeah. He was a character.
I know. Yeah.
So I would say, like, I'll write the jokes. You go out there and you tell them. But he was like, he was too afraid to do it. So. I was like, if he can't do it, there's no way I'm going to do it, you know what I mean? So I kind of gave up on it for a long time, and then I guess, which I regret now, you know what I mean? It pains me now that I waited so long. But then, yeah, like in my late 30s, I finally was like, it's now or never kind of feeling. And I just signed up for a stand-up class and just...
Okay, so you took a class. That's what I was going to ask you. So you're working at Con Ed. What is it like? You go on open mics, you take a class. What's the first step to get the ball rolling? Like you say, I'm going to do this. Like, is take a class on joke writing itself?
Yeah, it's a class on basically how to craft a joke, a little stage presence, covers the basics. I mean, you don't have to take a class. You could there's plenty of open mics in the city, which was another thing I didn't know about for a long time. I don't know why. That's what makes me mad is I didn't know the process, like I said, of getting to the point where you can get on stage and be funny. So like, and New York is like, the stand-up comedy capital. So you would figure like growing up here, I would know about the open mic scene, which there wasn't any in the Bronx, but we're close to Manhattan. Like if I would have just seen a few open mics and be like, oh, I could at least be this good, you know what I mean? Like this bad,
Right.
Then I think it would have given me the confidence to maybe try it sooner. Because then you see guys that are just starting as well. You're like, oh, this guy's not great. He's just starting. So I'm like, that's how I would be. I'd be as bad as this guy. So it would have given me kind of like license to do it. But what was the question?
So just the path you took, like you're working at Con Ed.
Okay.
Did you start working on jokes? Did you start going to open mic? I guess you didn't start going to open mic.
Yeah, I was too afraid. I mean, like I said, you don't have to take a class. You could just go and sign up open mics. But I was too afraid to do that. You know what I mean? I want to start like in a safer environment. So I took a class, which, then you're in like a classroom setting. There's no audience. You're just with other classmates. And, you get up there and you do your jokes and just with, your other classmates, and the teacher gives you some feedback and each work you need.
So that's kind of getting you too, to get the nerve to do it in front of other people, because it's strangers, right?
And it leads up to a graduation show at the end.
Nice.
Yeah.
So what's that first, not even that graduation, I guess the first time when you go to a real crowd, a live crowd. I remember coming to see you at the beginning, and I was nervous for you. So what does that feel like? Is that one of the scariest moments of your life, going out there?
It was terrifying. Yeah, it was really scary. I wouldn't say cocky, but like the teacher of the comedy shop gave me like a nice compliment. He's, like as the day of the show, we got there, and he's like, "I'm going to put you up towards the end because you're a good writer, you write good. Now I want you to kind of close out the show, basically." So then I whispered to someone that came there, this girl, Darren's cousin, had just finished her stand-up comedy class. She was the only one that knew about it. Chablis. Yeah. So she was there. I was like, I was like, he told me he's going to put me towards the last because I'm good, you know what I mean?
Right.
And then like I had a moment where I was going through my jokes. It was like maybe 3 minutes in and I just froze. I couldn't remember the next thing. And now you have other stuff you could you could just go to other jokes you have in your head. I probably have, 30, 40 minutes in my head now.
Right.
At the time, I only had those 5 minutes. So if you forget where you're at, there's nothing else to go to.
So this happened?
It happened, yeah.
What did you do?
It felt like I was not saying anything for like an hour. It was probably a good, at least 5 seconds.
Right.
But it feels long with it,
Did you recover?
I did. I mean, the first performance was pretty terrible. It wasn't good, you know what I mean? And then it was like, but I still wanted to do it. I got a few laughs. Those few laughs were enough to, I knew I was going to do it.
But the crowd, are they expecting to bring Rodney Dangerfield?
No, they know. Friends and family.
Yeah, it's like when you go see amateur boxing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
So everybody's rooting for it. It's not a true audience anyway. So
I got you.
It was like a safety net thing. And it was not terrible. It could have been a lot better out, definitely. But it felt good when I got getting the laughs. It feels great. But
I'm sure.
When you forget what you're supposed to say, that doesn't feel great.
Right. So, as far as comedians and writing their own material, like in hip hop, if you don't write your own stuff, you're kind of like a fraud. Like it's kind of like a stand. You know. Like, so is it the same way with comedy, or are there a lot of comedians? I don't even know this. I would think there are, right? Like people who have teams who write their jokes for them and then they perform, right? Do people know? Would people be surprised, like some of the big funny guys that don't even write their own jokes? Can you write all your own jokes? Like people that are around them, really?
Most people do. Like the true comics write their own shit. I'm sure they, some of these guys have some people that they buy jokes from. I know that happens, but I'm sure like the well-known comics, like they're writing the majority at least, or if not all of it, like 99% of it. Maybe they get a couple of jokes here and there, but there are people out there. I think that people who, because there are people like that are like more, they want to get into acting. They use comedy as like a
gateway,
as a springboard to like something else. But I think the true comics more feel like it has to come from within you.
But so do you frown upon? You ever on the circuit? This kid doesn't write his own jokes, and people talk about.
I don't know anyone that openly doesn't write their own jokes.
Okay.
I mean, you hear people like.
Well, how do you know? Right? How would
you wouldn't probably know.
I didn't write this.
I did hear about one girl who, I guess there's a website I heard about, which a guy I know writes for a website where you can buy jokes from it. So he'll write and get paid to just write jokes for this website, and then other comics can come and buy jokes. And he told me this one comic who I'm not going to say her name, but bought a few jokes from him. So I was like, oh man, I didn't know this person was not right. It definitely, in my eyes, I guess it kind of maybe lessens their value a little bit. You want a point of view from that person. It's basically the world through that person's eyes. That's what you want to feel like you're getting when you're, I guess, right?
So what do you? So you're working on new material all the time. So what does that look like?
All the time, yeah. I guess I don't know. I don't know if it's any different than like anything else anybody else does. Like, you know what I mean? So you have ideas all the time. Maybe like someone who's doing comedy is just a little more prone to record those ideas that you get throughout the day, especially if it's something funny. Obviously, if you're a comic, you want things that are funny. So if you think of something funny throughout the day, I make a point to just jot it down on my phone or a notepad somewhere, save it, and then later on try and really work it up and make it as good as can be. You test it out some shows, some mics, whatever you're doing. You know what I mean? But I don't think comics have, I guess, the same ideas that everybody else has, but you kind of just take them and you examine them maybe a little more and work on them.
Is there like a go-to joke? Like you have this one joke where you see people like react better to it, and when you're doing a show, you're like, I'm gonna go to this show because it works well. Is it refining your act like that, and you finding out what works, and then to continue to use it and get better? Sometimes I'll do presentations, I'll give classes on real estate, and you see how the crowd reacts to certain things, and then you're gonna grow off of that and you keep using it and spin off. Or it is you kill with it, then you gotta move on, you gotta make some new material.
Yeah, I think every time I write something, I always think it's the best thing I ever wrote. Like that's like you feel like that, and then sometimes it turns out good, sometimes it's like not so good. But I have like one set that I'm doing really well with. Like it's a bit like I have on overpopulation, so I'm tending to close with that a lot, just because I know it always does good. But I don't want to get comfortable with it because then you can just rely on it. It's like kind of a safety net, which I think is not good in a way because then I don't know, it can make you lazy. I think you know what I mean. If you know, I could always go to this to
bail you out.
Yeah, exactly.
I got it.
I heard Louis C.K. One of the good things about coming out, I don't know if, like I said, this is for people that are in the hustle. This whole podcast, right? So, if your hustle is comedy, it's got like just you get the podcast and other stuff like you're doing now. There's a lot of resources out there that you could kind of learn from. So I think I avoided a lot of pitfalls and stuff that back before these podcasts existed that I could have fell into. And I heard I think Louis C.K. talking about how way back when with the jokes and stuff is like I guess your point is always to be funny, and with the writing, like he used to say, he used to have a strong closer, and like I said, the way I had that thing I could fall back on, but he said when he would get comfortable with something that he could always fall back on, he would throw it to the front of his set and open with that, so he couldn't rely on it. He'd purposely take his legs out, and so the other stuff had to get stronger.
That's fun. That's
a good concept. You know what I mean?
But that's almost like a business concept. What is that? When there's the book where the guy's like, we're going to burn the boats. You can't have a plan B like that. He's kind of doing that to himself. He's setting himself up like to be stronger. You know what I mean?
What, burn the boats, you're saying?
Yeah, it's a famous book where he's going to war, and he's like, he tells the people before they get off, they're undermanned, they're going to fight, and then he's like, we're burning the boats, and people are like, why we're burning the boats? We ain't going back. You understand what I'm saying?
That was when the Spanish, I think, were.
Yeah. So there's no plan B. Cut the safety net, like what you just said.
You guys are going to have to live here the rest of your life.
Either we're fighting or there's no retreat. You understand what I'm saying? We're going in.
I remember we talked about this when we were younger too. It was like coming from our neighborhood, it was like a blue collar mentality, so we were kind of like in the middle class, so, and you say, I remember you saying back in the day that it's better if you're poor or like not middle class, like I don't want to say poor. Does that sound like not? No,
I know what you mean. Yeah,
like lower class, whatever. Like we had kind of.
Like my parents, they immigrate, they come in with nothing, and they're hungry. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But yeah, you're saying it's better. People in our position, we get comfortable. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We don't have to if we don't hustle, we still get a bed to go home to.
It.
You know what I mean? So you were saying people that have less than us is a nicer way. Than saying poor, right? That sounds nice.
Yeah.
But if you have lesser, then you're more prone to the hustle. So we can't compete with those people because those people I don't know how you said it exactly, but that was your sentiment. Basically, people that are really struggling, that's how the hustle really comes. And I think there was something to that too. I think that kind of kept me, like I said, those years of dreaming. I didn't put enough behind it. You know what I mean? I was just dreaming alone in my room for years. So, maybe I was a little hungrier or something. I just needed a little extra motivation, which I think. I don't know. Dude, I didn't have.
Rocky goes back, right? When he gets the mansion and everything, he goes back with Apollo. He's got to get the eye of the tiger back, right? When he's rich, right? He didn't want to fight no more because now he had too much shit to lose. Like he at the beginning, right? You go all in, you got nothing.
Marvin Hagler, I think, had a good quote about that when he came from humble beginnings and then he worked his way up. But you got to keep hungry, otherwise, you're gonna lose what you have. So he said it's hard to get up 5 a.m. when you're sleeping on silk sheets.
I love it.
Yes. Yeah, that's
it's hard. So that's the thing
about on a box spring with no sheets.
That's it.
And you need that that next fight to keep you moving forward. You stay hungry. So I don't know. I'm not saying I wish I grew up with less. I didn't grow up. My family, we didn't really have much. You know what I mean? But I'm comfortable enough where I don't know. Sometimes I wish I joined the military. Just something I needed a little fire under me. Or maybe I just couldn't figure things out soon enough. I don't know, but I don't know.
Kind of did it for me. Children. when you have children, it kind of you for me, you want to leave a legacy. You want to make their life better. You know what I mean? And like my father did for me. Like I want them to be comfortable in their kids. It's kind of if you need to have some kids.
That's how you burn the boat.
That's it. Now it's not just about me anymore.
I don't know.
Now
I think about that too because I don't have kids, so I'm like I don't know. Maybe does that make me a more complete person or give me that?
I don't know. It can definitely center you. You know what I mean? It definitely center you. I'm not this person who like if you don't have kids, it is what I happen to have kids, and once you do, it gives you another reason to do a motivational factor. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I was that way anyway. Like I wanted better for myself, and I just always respected like what we just talked about. Like people come. I think about that all the time. How my father came here. He didn't speak English. They're able to buy properties and to work hard and to set up his family, and I got respect for that. You know, and some people are like, oh, he was old school. Like he didn't come to your Little League games. Like I'm not that person. Like I respect he did what he had to do to make my life better. Exactly. You know what I mean?
And you see with the new immigrants now, they come from like humbler places and don't have as much as we have. So
they're just hungrier.
They're more motivated.
So what do you think some of your biggest obstacles have been as far as doing the like? Is it working the two jobs? Is it doing both together? Like what to keep you from really going all in on the comedy? So obviously, I was working in the post office doing the real estate. A lot of people know my story, and a lot of times I thought I needed to get out of one, but I finally realized I can do them together. I got the benefits for my kids. I can,
right.
You know what I mean? So is it holding you back, or is it just like what you said before? Is there opportunity in comedy to really what how do you make it? Like is it a big gig? Is it when you're an actor, you get that one big part, like a fighter, you get that one big fight. When do you say, oh shit, this is it? Like you're opening up for like a big act? Like what's the goal here?
I mean, I couldn't tell you how to make it because I haven't made it.
Right, but if you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get it? Right, you have to see it. Like, do you have an idea like of what you want it to be?
Again, another like tidbit I got from a podcast was Bill Burr said, when you striving, your goal should be just to get better to the point where you're undeniable, where your talent is like where I'm crushing like at shows every night, with the point where people are booking you more.
No, but I love that. Just get better at doing what you do. That's perfect. To be better than you were yesterday. That's it.
And get to the point where you're undeniable. Like,
that's it.
Bill Burr, getting that.
Well, I love Bill Burr, by the way. And I was going to ask you that, so we might as well now. Some of your comedians you like, he's my guy. I love Sebastian Maniscalco as well.
Yeah.
I think he's amazing. Bill Burr is very funny dude. I was just watching a skit he did the other day on how people everybody in the military now, like you gotta you have to bow down to them. Like it became so much the other way. He goes, I can see the guys that are front line, but not the guys that are waving to the planes to go. Like, thank you for your service. Yeah, it was amazing. And he said people got mad out of it. There's always that one guy. So. But who are some comics you look up to?
Bill Burr is definitely one of my guys. I love Bill. He's like, I don't know. I feel like I fit his kind of his mold a little bit. Not that I'm anywhere near as good as Bill Burr, but he's got like that blue collar background.
Love it.
And he's got like a little bit of a little bit of intelligence to him as well. So I feel like that was my combination. Like I have a little bit of original, I guess, insight on things, and I'm also like this blue collar background. So I'm grounded in that world. But I think I have like I don't know. There's like a fairness to them that I like too. Right?
I think a lot of the comics that I love that end up being the funniest are when it's kind of true. Like Sebastian Maniscalco when he does the skit about the company. That happened in my house. It's exactly my life. So yeah. Your mom is like, you can't touch that cake, and you got to eat these crap cakes for the company. Yeah. And I went that's when I found myself laughing the most, when you remember that really happened in your life. Yeah. Or he talks about the wedding, when you keep track of what the people gave you in the book, and then you go back $10. That's what you give them on their wedding.
I haven't seen him live yet, actually. My favorite guy is Norm Macdonald.
Really? That's interesting. That's interesting.
He's very dry, but he's like, so I don't know, his humor just gets me. And he's super edgy and like very like brave. If you look at some of the stuff he's done over the years, I mean, he got fired. He lost his best gig of all time just because he wouldn't bow down to the authority, basically.
Really?
Yeah. From SNL, he got canned because he wouldn't. The president of the company told him, knock off the OJ jokes, and he wouldn't do it. He kept on. They cut him, but throughout his career, it's like a history of just being, not doing just things to please people, but doing things because he felt like that's what he should do. And I think that being true to yourself like that is definitely important. I value that a lot. You know what I mean? Plus, he's just super funny to me. That's the most important thing. I mean, as a comic. And that's not, like I said, these gems you get from like these podcasts and stuff are like to me, priceless. They've been priceless because one of the gems I got from him, from Norm Macdonald on one of his podcasts, so I don't know where he was talking about, but he said, like, you know, some of these comics, like, you have a tendency, you want to just prove, people want to go out and just prove how smart they are. They just want to say smart things and be seen as, like, some intellectual type, which I can see that being, like, a trap you fall into, you know what I mean? Especially coming from, like, you know, I grew up in the Bronx and I have this accent, so I go into the city, people think I'm, like, a Bronx moron, you know what I mean? So I want to prove that I have, like, a little bit of a head on my shoulders, but he said, you know, as a comic, the only thing you have to do, the most important thing, the only thing is to be funny.
Of course.
So if you're not, if you go up there and just, like, you know, making people think you're smart,
Right.
but you're not funny, then you're not really doing comedy. You know what I mean? So it's good to keep me grounded too. It's just knowing that maybe you have a good idea or an interesting take on something, but if it's not funny, then it's not comedy. It's something else. You know what I mean? So, you know, for any comic, that's really always got to be the goal, is to, you know, be funny. Basically.
That was going to be my next question about it. Any comics trying to come up, and I guess that's the advice you're going to give them, right? Just be funny and don't try to be what you're not, and stay true to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, like, well, that's what I said. I like this podcast because I think it's you're talking to people from different, like, walks of life, right? So, I think, yeah, if you're trying, whatever your goal is, you know, whether it's real estate, comedy, who else do you talk to? You talk to
Lawyers and anybody. Like I'm like, yo, my friend. I'm gonna have my friend on. He owns a barbershop and he's doing well. He writes songs. Like anybody just hustling and making it in life. That's what's. But really putting in the work. That's the thing. Because like I said, a lot of people out here, especially in this business, just like to talk and say we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But I just like to see people really doing it, and that's successful to me. You know what I mean? It's not about. Of course, it's good to make money at the end, and that's what we're all here for. We want to make money.
I'm not making any money.
And you're still successful to me. That's why you're on the show. That's what I'm talking about, brother. So it's not just about making money. It's about trying to make money and get out there and do your thing, you know?
I mean, I think one thing I would say is, you know, whatever your, like, you know, your goal is or your passion is, like, people who have made it or in the struggle or have made it, I think people like talking about, like, this stuff that they have. They're willing to share the knowledge with people.
Yeah,
so
definitely, yeah.
So if you have, like, a goal or something, like, talk to people in that field. Maybe not everyone. Maybe you'll catch one asshole that doesn't want to share anything. But most people are, like, generous, and they'll pass on information to, you know, the people coming up. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the biggest thing I would say, my biggest, the thing that kept me back for so long that I regret most is not trying it sooner, because the fear held me back. Like I said, I didn't know that you weren't going to be funny like Bill Burr or Norm Macdonald right out of the gate. That's a whole process to that, you know, getting to that point. So, you know, just I think knowing you're supposed to be bad when you start something, right? Isn't that, if you try anything, you're gonna be bad.
Of course. Yeah.
I thought you had to be, like, that good right out of the gate. So I didn't realize.
I can
that's the most mad at. Like, I was like, yeah, why didn't I realize that? Yeah, of course you're gonna be terrible at it when you first start. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just like that's how you be. If you were
a lot of people do that. You compare yourself to someone at the top of the field. You just start.
Impossible to do
Yeah, exactly. That's a great nugget right there.
That held me back more than anything, because I was too afraid, because I would go to comedy clubs in the city and I was seeing guys that are, like, at the top of the field. You know what I mean? I go to the cellar, I go to the, you know, some of the best rooms, and I see guys that are the best in the game. I'm like, yeah, I can't do this. And of course you can't do that, because he couldn't do that when he started either. He wasn't this guy his first time on stage. Like, it took him years to get to that point. So whatever you're doing, like, you gotta allow yourself to be bad in the beginning. You're supposed to be bad in the beginning. So just know that you're supposed to be bad.
And be patient.
Yeah, patience, put in the work, and I know you're supposed to be bad. It's not going to be great the first time you do anything.
That's it.
Whatever it is, you know, I mean, comedy, whatever, anything. You got to allow yourself. I think that's the thing I tell young people the most is, you know, you're not supposed to be good at something when you first start.
I love it. And most of the people on the show, no matter what field, they're putting in the work, and they realize that it takes time. You know what I mean? And it's a grind. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And you just keep doing the work, and then you get there. You know?
That's the biggest thing I think that hurts me, because I didn't realize that. You know what I mean? I was like, man, why did?
But it's not too late. It's not too late.
It's not too late.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, people like the club owners and the people who book TV shows. They like young people. So young men, they want to be the one to say that I broke this guy or I stumped this guy. So I don't really know what I'm shooting for. I'm not looking to get on SNL at this point. I just want to be a good stand-up comic. I want to be able to go on stage after some really good guys and
hold your own.
Hold my own, basically, yeah. So I'm like 6.5 years in now, so I'm getting, like, you know, pretty good. I can see still where I need to be, but I'm a lot further where I started. You know what I mean? So now I've you know, I'll have a good show. Or I've done some cool shows that I like. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the best around them, you know, but I'm still working at it, and I can definitely see the progress. You know what I mean?
I can see it, and I respect your hustle, and I thank you for coming on. And you got any upcoming shows you wanna plug, or you got anything set or anything like that, or not really?
Nothing huge on the horizon. I'm trying to work on like some like my online presence now. I mean, I know you're doing that too, with the podcast and stuff, which is good, because you want people to, after the show, be able to follow up with you somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about like doing like some. I have some stuff I'm already working on that's gonna be coming out soon. So like some videos and
Nice,
stuff.
yeah.
So
If I can help you in any way with that, I would love to.
I appreciate it, man.
I got 3 questions for you before you go, though.
All right.
People know me, know I'm a big NBA guy and hip hop guy.
Okay.
So I got to ask you your favorite NBA player, your favorite rapper, and your favorite rap album. It could be a single, it could be a whole album, whatever you like. And we'll start off with the NBA player.
Well, you guys are all big basketball players. I was never like a big basketball guy, but I mean, like a casual fan, like I would watch. But I guess it would have to be Jordan because he was the only person that made me not made me, but compelled me to watch basketball. He's just amazing. I've never seen.
Yeah, of course.
I know there's the big LeBron Jordan.
No, don't even bring that up because we'll hold on. And I'll start getting.
I don't know enough to compare. I wouldn't even know.
There's no comparison. There's nothing to compare.
Who's better in your opinion?
Oh, Jordan.
Jordan.
Nobody. Yeah.
I don't know. I see people going back on Facebook all the time.
Like, I'm not even. I'm a Bird guy, and Bird knows it's Jordan, and I know it's Jordan. I remember like Bird and Magic saying it's Jordan. It is Jordan. They're two totally. It's almost unfair to even compare them. Like he's just a killer. Like he is what it is.
Like as a casual basketball fan, no one before or since made compelled me to watch like he did. So I would actually sit there and watch games just because he was playing that way. So I would say Jordan.
Okay. And how about favorite rapper? Cool. Let's hear it.
Well, my favorite group, like I said,
Of course. Yeah. It's funny. I just had somebody who just said the same thing. I love the Tribe. Listen, I talk about classic albums, and to me, Low End Theory. I don't know if that's going to be your album too.
Probably gonna be mine.
Yeah, it's just you put it on straight. There's not many albums you could do that.
Yeah, Midnight Marauders, Low End Theory.
Yeah.
I mean, those albums are probably two of the best. I mean, there's so many.
I love the Tribe.
Like
Black Dog, rest in peace.
And I mean, so many like other albums that over the years that we were big rap guys back in the day. 80s, I mean, the new stuff is I'm totally lost to rap now, but 80s and 90s rap is still something.
That's it, brother.
And maybe what's his name? Strictly Cuban Links, Strictly Built for Cuban Links.
Yes.
That's an honorary mention right there. Raekwon.
Yeah. Wu-Tang. Yeah. I remember we hung out with them. And you remember that? Yeah.
Before the album was even out, we saw them in
Long Island before anybody knew who they were. Yeah.
They wouldn't let Old Dirty Bastard.
Dude, what about seeing Biggie open up for KRS at the Palladium?
I missed that night.
Oh my god! Yeah, nobody even knew who he was. Yeah, and KRS.
He had the single out.
Yeah, he's
party and bullshit.
Yep, and then a week later, like a month later, Juicy comes out. Yes, exactly.
We were there first.
Yes,
I missed that show.
So, dude, thanks for coming on, and continued success, and always the best, brother.
Thanks for having me, pal.
Yes, sir.
Adios.